Hey, fellow traders. Today is the first episode of Trader Talks. This is going to be basically kind of like a podcast style, over the shoulder style. Kind of just while I'm doing my thing trading, I'm looking to kind of see what you guys are having trouble with, see what you guys are kind of asking about, and help everybody with their trading. As well as just go ahead and show you what I'm doing because I'm actually doing everything that I show. So you can see kind of at a glance or even just hang out and watch to see exactly what I'm up to and how I'm using everything that I'm applying and the way I'm applying everything that I'm showing in the videos. So one of the main talking points I have for today are mostly just how to practice. Now, one thing I've kind of noticed here as I've been practicing a lot, because I'm really kind of in a hurry to get some data because I've only got about 60 or 70 trades or so with a few various things. I really need to get about 2 to 300 trades to really see what's happening. But I noticed that if I speed it up, I tend to get careless. I tend to do things the wrong way. I don't pay attention to certain things I should look at. So I am playing this tick for tick, but it is not quite minute for minute, I kind of noticed, because it's taking out all of the dead zone. It's basically playing one tick every minute. So if there was no volume or no activity, basically in 5 or 6 seconds of time or 15 seconds of time, it will eliminate that 15-second wait and just immediately show tick number 46 and then tick on second 45, tick on second 43 if there's no tick on 44, and so on and so forth. So it'll be a little bit faster than 1 minute candles. I'm actually going to talk a little bit about time frames today, but mostly I'm just looking and testing for those setups. The main reason I want to talk about the time frames a little bit is because of how they should be viewed. I know oftentimes you get on a strategy or you get with a certain way of trading, you may lock into one certain time frame, like you want to do a 5 minute type strategy or a 1 minute specific type strategy. And I found a lot of problems involved with doing that because what usually ends up happening is, like I've kind of talked about in some of the other videos a lot, is the higher time frame will influence the lower time frame. And then you also have to look at your nearby support and resistance. So I've kind of marked out a high and low here. Uh, I've got a bit of a different setup with the charts. So I'm trying to kind of just move up a little bit and mainly only really use that 1 minute for entry maybe, but I'm not really looking too much at the 1 minute because I've noticed oftentimes you get a lot of false signals out of it. I've also got the news kind of queued up. I've got everything filtered to anything for this pair. I've already marked out a couple of trades that I've already taken, just kind of playing around earlier. I've got a few trades already taken. I've done a few other tests in the meantime, just kind of a few minutes here and there. So far, everything is looking pretty good. We're in the 50 to 60% range of accuracy, and usually I'm losing between 6 to 7 pips, or sometimes a lot less, 2 to 3 if the volume is low. I'm starting to try to practice with a higher volume. I'm gonna shift my sleep schedule around to try to trade more of the New York. So right now I'm just kind of starting out and kind of checking each session out a little bit as I go. This is from 6/20, 2022. I'm just using a little bit different data. And because it's a primary pair, this is not a pair I don't think I was trading at that time. I was kind of exploring some other pairs, the CAD, the Aussie dollar, the Swiss franc, and so on and so forth. I've also tried to dabble a little bit with the cable around that time. But just to add a little bit more interest, make things a little bit more interesting, I am going to actually eliminate the text so I don't have to worry about knowing a certain price activity or something like that. It will still show up here and there, but I'm not really too much looking at the price. That may not even work. I'm just not even going to look at it though, honestly. But I don't really too much trade price. I trade the price action, what the candles and all are doing. So I'm going to leave this note here, and this will be, I may or may not continue through this test. I know I've left plenty of time, so I've got 2 years of data. I'm going to be trading basically tick for tick, so I'm not going to be rushing through 8, 10, 20 days. I'll do a session or do a little bit of time, and then once I get done and get ready for a rest or so, I'll end up basically just turning it off and seeing where I continue from there. But all the new subscribers, everybody new to the channel, welcome. Everybody who's subscribed before, thanks for all the support and the likes and shares and spreading the channel around, helping it grow lately. And welcome everybody to the first episode. So I'm gonna start things out just by I've already kind of looked at things a little bit, but I'll just refresh. I'll zoom out a little bit. I've got the 5-minute here, the 15-minute here, and hourly here. I'll be flipping this one back and forth between the 5 and the 1. This one, these two will probably stay the same. But I've already got everything set up in regards to pricing and all for what it was previously for the challenge. So I'm going to be trying for the 5K account first, and then I'll probably go on and go to a larger account after I get this 5K under my belt, because I mainly just want to get one done, kind of like a test drive. It's a low cost, but these are the settings. It has a $4 commission round trip. It is applied when we open the position, and then has a 100-to-1 leverage, a 20 point, which is a 2-pip minimum distance to price, and then pretty much no spread at all. It's a razor account that they let you trade with. So I've got the floating spread turned off for these settings. So I'm basically just going to trade, try to get some more data, try to look at some setups. I've already kind of highlighted one here. If we kind of zoom in a little bit, we've got a little bit going on here at the last little section right before it popped up. I'm going to look at that. I'm also kind of looking at a little bit of a level here. I know we had that little bit of a curve that kind of failed through, and typically when those curves fail, it will usually retest off the top here and then end up heading to the top side. To go ahead and take a look at what I've got set up on the risk, I've already adjusted it for the first few trades that I've made. So right now the account equity is starting at 5,032.40, and I've got that little blip at the bottom there. That's to try to blow up the equity so it can look a little bit bigger and easier to see in the screen. But I've got the other numbers set up. So far the account's already up 0.65%. I've added a couple of different numbers to the calculator. I don't have these on the shared calculator, but once I clean that up, I'll add them in. The link for that is in the description of the live. If you want to give that a check out, just click File and Save to make edits. But this is what I'm looking at risk. I've kind of tightened up on the stop size a little bit. I'm using 24.6 because I have a 4-point for commission. So that's going to adjust out. So I have an exact $50 of risk, which will be 1%. And we're looking at 50.32, so it may bump up on the next little trade here. Right now we're running at $2 a pip, and that's going to be 80 cents of commission applied to this trade. Looking at a margin of 215. We're not really looking to go extremely high on that. I've already got the stop loss set and the little widget with the lot size for that. Hope everybody is doing well. How's everybody doing today? Can everybody hear me, see me? Everything's working out well? Not really seeing too many on the live, but I'm going to go ahead and get started. But this is the little setup I've identified. I'm going to go ahead and get the testing going and restart it. We're starting to get some pins off the hourly, so something to definitely keep watch for. There's another kind of little setup area here. So we could be actually going short off of that. This may be irrelevant on the 5. Got kind of a tight pattern. We are about an hour into the London session. I'm just going to kind of watch the action for a minute. We've got a strong push. We may even expect a little something off of here. And then I'm going to also take a look. We did kind of have that trend line break off of that. I'll grab a quick short, see how it goes. Let me turn off these history trades so it's not confusing. There it is. Okay. So now I've got a short on. See how this plays out. Taking that, mostly anticipating more pin bar, strong rejection action. We've got a little bit of that setup going on right in this area here. So just keep a lookout for that. Let me turn this automatic advancement off. There we go. So we can take a look at this. Ooh. So we've got this little setup here, little price action going on here, little price cluster. There's another little cluster right above it, so we could see this actually end up going short. But that's not really I wouldn't say it's too useful. There may be something here off the 15. Let me go to the bigger chart. Change that up a little bit. So we've got just a little bit up here. Could be a little bit of a level. I'm going to take a look a little bit closer. Looks like it used the little smaller one off. We could have something right there in that little wick area. So check that out. So far, not too much going here. Look at what's happening on the 1 minute. The auto scroll back on. Also got kind of a little double top formation. So looking in the 1 minute, this would be the support resistance zone. So that could be a probable short entry there. Getting some wicks off of that. Thought something was missing. There it goes. Still playing with some settings, still arranging things. I've got quite a collection of things going here, so I wanted to have certain things in the front. We've got them out of order, it looks like. Alright, trade starting to move in our favor now, getting a strong down push off of that resistance. It is a little bit slow. That was one thing I took quite a bit to look at. Apologies if it does seem a little bit slow. I know this is the boring thing where you just don't want to do it. Mostly because it's just slow. It's time consuming. It doesn't seem to pay off. But the payoff is when you go to the real market. Because when you're sitting here flashing through candles, you're just zooming through the test, you're not really paying attention to the little finer details of how you're actually handling the trades. You also miss certain things in the market that you would normally look at. And this is something I noticed that I do quite strongly. So I'm looking a little bit more to try to minimize what's happening with missing things, really pay attention, and also try to get a bit more accurate data. That's going to be the biggest concern, is getting that accurate data. If you don't have accurate data, then when you go to the live market, of course, it's not going to look the same. It's not going to come out the same. And you're going to be like, wait a minute, I done tested this through like 800 trades, but in the tester I got like a 60% hit rate, but now on live I'm not getting that same amount, and everything just feels different. Well, that right there is definitely going to be a sign of improper practice and improper testing. So in order to get the best quality data, I'm running it tick for tick. There's no real dead zones, so it's gonna basically kind of speed it up just a little bit. But as I'm trying to make this as close to the real market as possible, as close to what that account is gonna look like, feel like, and basically try to make this as relevant as possible to what I'm actually going to be doing. Because if you make it different, you don't do things the same, then you're going to end up having some issues where they're not going to come out exactly right. So, just to try to improve your overall, it this is the sucky part, but it pays off in the end to do this. What we're doing, what I'm actually doing here. I'd like to get about 200 trades. I've already made about maybe 60 or so, 60 to 80 or so. I haven't really gone back and added them all up, but I know I haven't crossed 100 yet. So that will be the first priority, to really make a solid conclusion that I understand what's going on with what I'm trading, what I'm doing. Right now I've got this chart on the 1 minute, so you can even see I've got a timer. Let me reset that real quick. We can actually try to time the candle on that show. I can show real quick how that's working out. So let's go to 1 minute. But you'll notice each candle will appear. You may have 3 or 4 candles appear. So we have one candle appear. Once I got this timer and just tried to attach it to running the screen, I noticed this. We had about 5 seconds into the minute, we had a new candle, and then we'll see another candle form before that minute ends. So it's moving just a little bit faster than the real market would, but it's going to be close. So see, within about 15 to 20 seconds, we had another candle. So it is not going to help much to try to keep it real time as possible, but it's fairly close. Okay, stop that, reset it, get back to watching the chart. Looks like we are starting to get some more selling pressure coming into the 1 minute. We're getting those wicks and pin bars down. Got the rejection off of the double top. This is the trend line break setup. It's not exactly the greatest when it comes down to the short terms. This could just be a short pullback and then a rejection off the top. So I'm kind of watching the 1 minute to see if it's going to respond or if it's going to drop. It is getting kind of near that area. I'll drop a line on it real quick. See where we are. Just watching some price action. So currently we do have a couple of little setups right there. I don't know if that would exactly count. It's a bit off, but it kind of does match up. See if we can adjust this a little bit better. It's probably going to be about right there. Going to try to include a little bit of that motion there. Go back to the 5. Just kind of look at the pin bar. We'll mark that off. So that could end up being that doji setup, but we're getting a good reaction down. Check back into the closer time frame, getting a nice move. Not looking to really add on too much. We're 5 points in right now for gain. Starting to see a little reaction. Let's pull us another trend line. See if that's going to hold up any. I'll pull up the stream on my phone to kind of see what's going on. See how everything looks. It does look to be coming through pretty well. So maybe I do have some good enough settings. I'll have it before long. So getting a little bit more here. Small setup there too. Minute chart though, I wouldn't really rely on that too much. It's only 2 minutes of action. I would look more into the consideration of this one or even that one. Might have my attention. So I will probably look to close if we reach that price. It does look like we're starting to get some slowdown on the momentum. Few rejections. Give price another moment. Take it right there and wait and see if we get any kind of other reaction out of this area. We may possibly just shoot right through it as well. Kind of looking at this as the halfway zone, roughly. One trick is you can set up a Fibonacci tool and actually use the percentages to measure. So about right there is going to be our halfway. And it does look like we're starting to get a bit of a reaction off the zone. Strong push back, but I'm going to take a buy and we'll see where that goes. So right now we're looking at this little group of price action off the setup. It's a pretty good little setup off the 15. So we'll see how this reacts. We did break through that one, so it was not quite reactive or relevant. Didn't even really show much really concern for it at all, so I'm going to remove that line. See if this level holds. And we might be looking at a move up. Everything seems to be coming through pretty well. So I believe I have a pretty good setup of settings. At 5,048, I'll hit this real quick. 48. still looking at about the same size for now, so carry on and scalp in a little bit more. Now we're starting to get a little bit of a price action formation there that it's a few more than just one candle. Hey, caramba. Be careful clicking near the scale where an object is. Any Valentine's Day plans? Me personally is just keep to myself and keep on trading. Should be a pretty fun day for me. Alright, starting to get a good move. Now if you're looking to do a trailing stop, you would kind of probably look to put it right around in here. So I'm going to probably go ahead and adjust this up. We'll look to save some risk. Check that break even at 0.18 points. See if this level right here holds up. Take 21. See if we can get it back into this little area here. Mostly kind of looking at pretty much that halfway point or so for this. Don't think it's going to go, but we'll see. So I'll go from here to there. And do we hold or do we stop? We get stopped, so we take that little bit off. Now we're up to 50, 52.20. So we've already brought the account up 1%. Let's go ahead and adjust the risk. See if we can move up to a 21. 50, 52.20. Okay. And just a little bit more to go to get that up. So I'm going to be using the same size again if we get another reaction off of this zone. See if we can. I don't know. I think I may wait just a moment to see what's going to happen. Starting to get trend line. If I can select the proper tools. So we'll look at that and wait to see if we get a break. Probably gonna wind up getting a little consolidation and then it may pop out of that point there. See what we get. Drop that on there real quick. I have to remove that. Pretty sure we're going to have a rejection off of here and end up coming at least into that area. We'll see how that plays out though. Again, apologies if it does seem a little bit slow. If you've got any questions though, feel free to ask. I'm waiting on to see what's going to happen here to make sure I have a pretty good entry. It's starting to look like we're getting a little curve up. I'm going to go ahead and hop back into that. But if you have any questions or need help with anything, just give a shout out in the chat and I'll be sure to try to answer that. See if we get a break across the line. If we are, then we're good. Did close up. And we have to see if it's going to come back. Got a double bottom here off of the past little price action, price cluster. So a good little cluster set up. Get a nice break across. That'll be a good confirm. Went just a little bit early. Try to gain an extra pip or so. Got a little small area that we're breaking out of here as well. So right around in here. Tight little area, 1 second or 1 minute. Do have a nice little doji forming off the 15. And we have roughly 7 minutes until that candle closes. Getting a good break across. Trying to keep an eye to the chat. Don't see anything yet, but if anything pops up, I'll be looking for it. Don't want to get too much information packed into one video. Yeah, I'm looking forward to next week, though. I'm looking to probably try to get started on that next challenge. Got to get a bit more testing data before I work that out. So far, looking pretty good. And the other tests I've pulled through, I've had quite a bit of success with it. I'm just trying to make sure I get plenty of different market data, market points, because I know I've said several times that you can always find points where things will always kind of work. So you have to really try that across many different time frames, pairs, points of data, so on and so forth, in order to get the best possible, what I always talk about, bell curve. And that's basically just in a nutshell, without several points of data, you can't really have an accurate representation of data. It's just some nerd type statistics, math stuff. But basically, you want a lot of tests to have some accurate kind of ideas. And thanks a lot, Nay and Data. Really appreciate the comment and love there. How's everything going in your end of the world? Yeah, swaps can really kind of get a hold of you a little bit. I'm kind of curious. Let me see here. We'll take a look and see where you are. Very nice. Let's take a quick look real quick at DAX. Trying to find a chart scheme that actually works well enough for day and night view. I'm just getting a little bit frustrated with constantly changing my templates. So let's get this pulled up and take a look real quick. Keep a look. I'm going to leave this running. Starting to get a break. Everything's looking pretty good. Okay. I can do this though. So let's pull up the DAX. And what size and how many positions are you looking at on the DAX? Where's my big button? There it is. See, it's really choppy here lately. Got a few gaps in it as well. Get some period separators on here. Trade is starting to go pretty nice. There we go. Yeah, it does look like we're having quite a bit of chop on that thing. Are you pretty well spread out, or? There's 227, 175. You're in the... What's the symbol for that? I'm not sure if I got the right symbol. Well, I know once you do actually end up in a hedge, it kind of doesn't really matter too much about what's going on with where those positions are. It's more kind of about your pit value in relation to what's going to happen with the actual equity of the account. I know the biggest idea with that style of trading, it's kind of much easier to try to base everything off your starting balance. This way you don't kind of get caught up with trying to win every single trade. I mean, you're just objectively trying to make a bit more than you started with. But you got 5 lots in. What was the symbol for that pair? Try to pull it up on TradingView because I don't believe I have the right one here. Trying to find my other little thing to turn it off. There we go. Get that out of the way for a minute. 16, 222. Okay, so I do have the correct pair up. So what kind of looking at? So you went in. So you're at 227, 175. So your average position is about right in here. And then you're hedged to back out at around 16,227, or hedged out at 17,060. Okay. So you must have got caught right up here at the very top. So you've got a pretty tight little situation going. So basically at this point, if you have your hedge here, and this is just kind of what I'm looking at as a general overall view, it does look like we've kind of made a strong push, but we're kind of going flat. We could actually see the market kind of range around for a little bit. It may come down just a little bit more, but what my read on this would be is I would think that it's probably might be a good idea to kind of close out your sell hedge and then let a new basically a new sell limit or sell stop order happen. I missed the top on that one, but that's okay. We've got a good bit going on right here. Sorry, getting a little distracted. That's okay. It's part of it. We've got a nice little set right there on top of another. We'll see if that comes up. That's what I was looking for the target right there on that box. I was going to see if it comes up to the yellow line. It might still do that. So let's get back to looking at this real quick. But from this perspective, you've got this little doji right here. I'm looking at the 1 hour chart. It does look like we're on the bottom of this price consolidation level. You may want to take a look at the timing of the market day. Probably when the market opens, and probably wait until more than likely one of the... Oy, the way that pattern looks, the way it looks like it behaves, you may want to look to act right at the beginning of the open of the market. It could potentially try to take a little liquidity off the bottom, but I would probably expect it to keep ranging and kind of go back up. So I may look for an opportunity to close out this one hedge here and then try to set that limit order down below and then try to squeeze that back up to try to recover some of your equity. So that would probably be my plan of attack from your situation. It does look like we've got a pretty nice little level right around in there. So getting that little pin bar, we've got a little demand, a little setup. This would be something to look out for. It could gap like I've noticed it's been doing. So watch for a gap if it kind of opens nearby or even gaps up a little bit. You may see if it wants to kind of try to close that gap a little bit and then come back. But I would probably be looking for it to pretty much keep ranging like that for a while. See if we can go a little further back. Yeah, so we had a long break here. I would probably consider somewhere right in there to be a major level, somewhere right in here to be a major level, and somewhere right in there to be a major level. So we're kind of lining up there over the past month or so to be relevant for using those possibly. So they're pretty close in that respect. So let me get some of that out of the way. But this right here would probably tell me it's likely to consolidate at least for a little bit, so that gives you a good opportunity to try that out. So hopefully that'll work out. I'll mark this as a favorite and keep an eye on it. DAX, I'll add that. I'll put that right on there. Yeah, I'll stick it on the one I got up. There we go. Okay. Hopefully that'll help you out a little bit. Looks like we're getting a reaction out of this setup here, so everything's good to go. Had a strong kickback, a little whip out. I do believe that this little break right here is going to hold and drive the price back up. Oy, that's not looking good at all on OBS. I may have to pull that out of the dock. No problem. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Okay, equity is rising a little bit slower than I'd hoped. This is the GU session. This is normally about 3:30 a.m. for me, 4 o'clock a.m. for me. So we should be coming into the New York session of this test pretty soon. I don't see anything really major coming up right away. Low impact, medium impact. Don't really pay attention to news much, but I can't execute orders within 2 minutes before or after the news for doing the challenge. So, okay, getting a nice pin out of the 15 as well. Doji on the hourly, playing around in this little level right below that resistance. Now, one suggestion I would try, definitely try to check out Achilles heel, because I know a lot of focus on that video is about actually reducing the size by actually doing a removal part. So as you go in to remove positions, I'm not sure if I entirely covered this in detail in the video, but as you go to remove positions, what you could also do instead of re-hedging again when price moves against you, you could actually submit to a loss for the size that you're actually trying to squeeze for if you're sitting there watching it. And that in itself will rebalance the hedge at a smaller size, and that could actually help you a little bit too on saving your swap fees. It's a little bit tricky, a little bit technical, and it would require you to actually be sitting on the chart to actually kind of observe and watch that while your position becomes exposed. But that would definitely help you out in getting some of that size down, because then you'd basically be realizing a loss, but you'd be taking more gain out of the sell that you actually closed than what you're actually closing out to accept the loss. So it would be a benefit to the account still. And that would basically be like just a manual method of trimming to let price action kind of help you out with the trim. And I'm not sure if this is going to hold up or if it's going to consolidate for a minute. A little bit of time left until the New York Open. May not really have much to work with right here in this situation. I might have missed my exit. Still playing with this little zone here though. Is everybody able to see the stream okay? I know it looks like it's coming through pretty well on mobile. It's just showing a pretty good upload rate of 2300 kilobits. It's a little bit slow for what YouTube needs though. More momentum shifting. So this level here I can go ahead and take out. It's no good. At least I have the one just below. Let's see, where are we at? 4 points down. Breaks and closes below that low. I will probably take this trade off. Still using that to try to make still a double bottom kind of type pattern. And looking like the overall market is uptrend into this level still. So I'm expecting it probably to get somewhere up in this range actually. About 30 to 40 pips. We could even reach the very top of the wick. Did it again. Got a couple of different templates set up for Fibonacci. I'll have to adjust those again. I had one set up for R ratio, but I lost it. So I'll have to reset that one up. What are we going to do here? What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Yeah, I'm going to take that off. Starting to have a break below that line, so I'm expecting we're going to have some type of other reaction point, maybe from below. Start watching off of this level here. See if we get anything to come out of there. And we're starting to see if we get a reaction off of the line. I doubt it. We are in the 1 minute. Let's see what's happening on the 5. And some strong reaction down. We may actually see a breakdown here. Or we have a divergence setup coming on. Yeah, I think that might be a divergent setup. Let's go ahead and buy again. And a strong push up. Back into the 1 minute. Very good reaction right there. Starting to line up pretty well there. For something a little bit more agreeable. Go. And a little bit of a slow action point here. Thinking we're having a divergent entry off the 1 minute that we looked at in the earlier price action video. So setup number 2. Give that a shot. That is more commonly found on the 1 and 5 minute charts more than it's found on the higher time frame. So if you're looking for that one on higher time frame, it will be probably like a once or twice a week kind of event. It's not something that happens too frequently. Getting a nice little upward shape formation. Getting a nice little cluster right there. It's only a 5 minute candle though. Still a lot of pressure coming from the hourly chart though, so I think we're pretty good for that. Got a nice little push. A bit of a trend line up. Should be coming in line with that trend line here soon. It's actually lining up pretty well. So I think we might have a good spot right here. We'll hold that out. See if we break the highs. Currently up 0.75%. We lost just a little bit there in the last bit. Risking 1% per trade and only lost about 0.25%. Took the 6 pip loss. No big deal. Account history. Take a look at it from the beginning real quick. Here we go. And let's see. Don't need that. There we go. Profit so far, profit chart. So from the start to current. I will kind of just put this off to the side. We can observe that as it goes. Good thing about this, you can export everything, so that's pretty cool. Now we'll make its own little price chart. Where did it go? There we go. Don't really need that up top though. Just let that be down for now. Our higher time frame trend line lines up pretty well. For continuing, I think we might see a continuation upwards at this point, lining up pretty nicely there. That's probably going to take precedence over everything and make all of the buy setups, even this setup here, more likely to work out over a sell until we break over this main line here off the hourly. So that would be my expectations. At this point, I would expect once we get into New York, once we move ahead just a little bit, we will see price continue upwards for a short bit. A little bit more time to move. Indecision. A slight level here of support and resistance. Lining lines up a little bit further back, also lines up on that trend line, plus we have the divergent entry. So I think this is a very likely probability to go much higher. Once we have the break, yep, I'm going to add on a little bit more on that one. Still fairly close together, so this one will end up going out if we break below this little area here. And the one below it, I'm probably going to see if it'll bounce off of that level, but I don't want to have too high of a pip value because we're running at $4 a pip right now. So 40 cents a point on the current trade. Don't want to get too excessive about it because the downside will hurt, and you don't want to get way up here and then try to add in, because then you'll quickly move back to getting back to where you started. And then even if you come down for a retest back from here, this would be your lowest point basically to expect another entry. I wouldn't get much higher, because then that's going to drastically reduce your outcome in a negative way. So I don't know if I want to take back that loss or just let that ride a little bit longer. Probably let it ride. Got a lot of concurrent lineups. Strong push out, pin bar, flag pattern. Yes, we're riding pretty well. Kind of ejected back out. Good little push up on the gap. Very nice swing. I'm going to take that little one off the table. Let the other one ride. The add-in positions are usually very short. Don't want to keep those on for very long either, especially when you get a snapback. Again, because that's going to hurt quite a bit. We'll reduce the risk down to, I'll take it down to about 0.4%. At that point, well, I'll bring it up. I'm going to try to look. If it breaks below this pin, I'll probably cut it, because then we're probably looking at a run at this little area here. If not, I'm going to let it flag and go. Right now, this stop is adjusted to this setup. We got a good push out of it. I don't want to give up too much if it does end up snapping back. Do expect it to keep going up, though. Take back that little bit we sacrificed earlier. Starting to make a nice little trend line. See if we hold that line. Got a new setup for the short time frame. If we have a break above, I'll bring the stop below this low here. Preserve any other gains. We've already made a significant decent amount on it. Now I'll let it ride a little bit longer. Starting to get a nice push. I'll take that. It's not quite a close yet. Let it run just a little bit further. Right up. So I believe I started about somewhere close right in there. About 2.5 hours of trading on. Yeah, that's not going to work out anymore. Okay, strong push down. It's reacting off of this little area and zone here. So definitely needed to take that off. We did recover the last little bit. that we took away, that was taken away from us before. I'll go ahead and update the equity chart now. 50, 63, 80. 63, 80. Okay. Still can't quite size up yet. Gonna take a minute to probably get that, I would expect. And so far, we are looking at 1 and a little over 1.25% gained. So not too shabby. See if we get a retracement back up. Take an entry short. Could have actually snapped up that little short entry there. Make an adjustment, take a look at it from this angle. Not a 1-to-1 profit to loss, but we do have a much better strike rate than loss rate. 2 losses so far in this run. I had 1 loss right at the very beginning when I started. And then we took that one little dip here where it broke below and then came back. So didn't really have to lose that, but I didn't feel like it was gonna hold up. I didn't quite look below at the higher time frame first, and that's always usually advised before you cut the trade, but oftentimes if you're running a tight stop or looking for tight trades like what I'm trying to make right here, sometimes you just don't have that opportunity to look, and that's one of the key things to remember that you're probably not doing if you're speed testing or just flying through candles. You miss the little details, and the little details make the difference in the end. It's kind of like an example I gave a buddy of mine a couple of days ago. After a while, you start to kind of learn and figure out which details matter more. You can have 3 people go to the doctor, have all have similar symptoms. 2 people just need an aspirin and bed rest, and the third needs actual medical attention. And sometimes it could just take experience to know the difference and know the little subtleties. So trading kind of works the same, just like being a lawyer or any other profession. You're going to have to take time to really learn and study. I'm trying to simplify things as much as I can. I still can't help it. I have to use my experience while I'm doing this too. So uh, I'm kind of being a little bit more particular about which setups in question and how I'm choosing them, but that's mostly just experience based, something you can only get with time. I'm trying as much as I can to try to figure out a good way to really teach that, but it just doesn't, it's not a very sensible way to do it. Let's see here. Getting a little bit of a curve here. See if it's gonna follow through short. Pull this zone out a little bit further. Everything's tight and choppy. Well, kind of not sure if we're going to have a breakout or if we're going to have a fall from this point. Get rid of that. See how we're doing here. Tough decision, tough decision. We're in a triangle pattern. We're getting into the end of the little lineup, the little mashup, the little pop point. Gonna wait to see what takes over. Still thinking higher time frame is looking at more than likely going long. That's a little goofy. Starting to get some pins. We had a fake and break below that level. I'll line that up in the center there. Yeah, I still think we're probably going long. Getting a pin and break. 1 minute. Going up. I'll take another shot. A lot of wicks down below. Giving a lot of indication there's some buy pressure. Ooh. So if we hold up the level. 2.5 pips. 22 points. 23 points. Small moves, nothing major. Getting a little tiny. Volume is starting to pick up a little bit on it though. Getting closer to the New York session. We are probably in New York pre-market. I have to double check my times. Looking at so many different softwares and charts, they use different UTC settings, so I get confused sometimes. Trying to keep a notepad of which ones are which so I don't get lost. I know what time it is live market because I've done it so much that's not going to change each year. So using the testers, they have different time frame setups. So, or different time zone setups, sorry. So I can get confused occasionally. I think in the last test I was an hour early. So we weren't actually in the GU session for that practice session. Give it a little bit longer hold, but I think it might not work out. Four pips out. Yeah, breaking that line. I'm going to take it back the other way. Close out that buy. We're breaking that trend line as well. Lining up with the curve over top. So let's take it down for a little bit more and watch this level just down below. Could see a fake out reach down to that level. News is coming in as well. Put it about 3 minutes before. I'm going to close out of the position at that point. Medium low impact, 1600 hours is when that news is going to strike. Do a little fill, fair value gap, little gap. I don't think this level is going to hold up much. Starting to get some sellers coming in. And I'm not sure if this is before or after parity, so I have no idea which way it's going right now. I think this is before parity, but I'm not 100% sure. Doesn't help me any to cheat though. I'm trying to get accurate statistics, so you may want to cover up your prices or just not look at them and try to trade based on your strategy and what you're trying to work with. That will definitely help out in practice. And definitely do not rush. That's going to be the biggest suggestion. Getting some nice selling pressure coming into those candles. Still a lot of wicks, not much movement. This isn't high impact news, so it shouldn't be causing too much of a stir. Still down just a little bit though from where we were on the high. Lost a little bit of that return so far on that last trade. Now it just doesn't want to quite move. Go ahead and break and take the low. Be in pretty good shape. There we go. Strong push down. Let's recover, take back this loss. We will be in much better shape. Very strong push down. And that one candle. That was 3 pips on the last few ticks. This should wick and we should see it continue low. Bank holiday. Presidential speech. Ooh, nice little drop. Pierced in through that level pretty good. Now it's going to try to come back though. Small reaction. Kind of typical to expect at least something off of here. I believe we're going to reach down to this level here at least probably, which should invalidate that setup. If we get one more push down that way to close out. I'll take it right there. Oh, should have held a little bit longer. So, all right. We're right back up to the 128 above. Got a nice little hit rate going here. Hopes to be rested. 50, 63, 80. So we made 20 cents. 64. So we didn't get back up much, but we are back at the even of the high water mark, so that is very good. See what we do here. We're right roughly in the middle of that range. See how we react. Might get the little push out of the level. Still think we're going lower though at this point based on what we're seeing with the curve. Still working with the same size on the lots. Not quite ready to push it up yet. I was expecting that at least once we reached above 50, 50, it would go up a little bit more, 50, 51, but we're not quite there yet, I don't think. Still running the same size. Yep, getting a slight reaction. Gotta get through the news. Starting to get some volatility. A little messy over here. I have to clean that up. Remove the little arc. That should help a bit. Take that off for right now. And shouldn't need these other couple of lines. We're just looking at the one setup. We do have the break on the hourly trend line though. Really has my attention. This rejects back up. This could very well be a fake out. And we could see it rise higher. Break below and take this low. I would expect it to go lower. Now we've got a level right there. It's also confirmed there off the trend line from before. A little consolidation. Could retest off of here and drop down. If we do that, then we could maybe expect a divergent entry out of the news. Some heavy news coming up. That's 1800, so a couple hours to that one. Got a few bars in. What time is it now on the chart? Okay, so we got about 30 minutes until that news hits on the candle time. Going short from here, or do we end up being a fake out long? Yeah, I think it's coming back long. Give it a moment to close. Short, long, short, long. This could just be a break and test and drop. Too many options here to make a choice. What do we do? What do we do? And what is going on in there? Got a slight break. More of a match. Looks like it might be coming back down. Close below the level. Looks like a retest. See if we get it. Watching right here for the points to see how far away it is. I'd like to see it up here, but that was actually in profit, so I'm looking at the points though. If you're only looking at profit, that can get scary for no reason. We're not invalidated, although that was going the wrong way quickly. Looks like we're coming back. Nothing else, at least to reach back down to here. Did kind of close at that halfway mark with the candles. Still getting those pins off the top in the hourly. What are we working with on the 5? Yeah, so it's probably going to respect this level and drop down below. Got a little pin in that zone. Be careful. Strong push though. Now we're going to pin right there. Don't pin right there. I have to get out soon with news coming. Take it back down. Still have downward motion. price chart. That's why I kind of don't really lock into one price time because they're all going to work together. So where it's heading in this chart, it's also going to be heading in this chart. So if you're just only looking at a tight time frame or a short time frame, you're going to miss the overall picture and direction of what the market's really trying to tell you. So I always say look up to that higher time frame before you make any decisions. Because all of this is showing short to me. 5, the 15, the hourly. Move this back up and straighten it back out. Yep, definitely going to break and drop on this line. So I think I'm probably sitting pretty good in this position. Gonna have to close it though. I do not like being out of control of the trade. If I ended up closing within that 2-minute before or after window, it would invalidate the challenge. So I'm gonna make sure I get into a habit now of closing out a little bit early. What we're gonna do, what we're gonna do, what we're gonna do. Take that low and it will go a little bit lower. Let's see if I can reach here before the news. Or if it will reach there. But I do not want to have 5 to 6 candles being out of control of the trade. Always find a new entry later. There are several opportunities all over the chart, everywhere you look. So there's no need to fear about being in or out of a trade. There's always an opportunity or a chance to get something somewhere. Pushing back out, but I don't think we're going to take that lower level. Probably should have took it off. We do have a little bit of a setup here to see if it bounces back down. Pretty clear little setup right here, so we'll see what's happening with that. Will it hold or will it break? This is only the 1 minute. Good little pin. But it may not hold up. Yeah, I should have took my little bit while it was down there. Not too bad though. Pretty solid statistics on this little run. They're starting to line up with some other tests as well, coming out with some similar numbers. So far so good on testing. In that situation, we traded for about 2 hours worth of the chart. Brought the account up over 1.25% almost. And let me turn on the trade history to show where everything started. Pause the test. Take a look at everything. Before I started the live, I was kind of messing around a little bit. I wasn't sure if I wanted to hop on today or not because I know most people are not usually involved in YouTube, but I figured why not? We'll go ahead and do it just to record it and show what's going on because basically everything that I've uploaded lately, it's more of a concept and theory video, so I wanted to kind of show some of this stuff in action. So right now, just getting started out, I thought it was going to go short somewhere in this area right around in here. I'm not sure what I was reading off of that point, but I did realize I was probably wrong from that point. Cut it out for a small loss and then took a few other wins. And then right here where the note is, this is where the video started. I took a double short here. I closed out kind of like what I did earlier in the video. It moved a little bit. I closed out the one and then closed out the other, and then we started the video and everything from there was shown. So that's kind of how I've started, and then we started the video here, which kind of showed how even though we don't have much of all the activity in the past history and the drawings, everything gets moved around. I'm basically just trying to show some of the setups and some of the latest videos in use, so you get a few examples of how that actually works out and how I'm applying it through the market for trading. So kind of gonna probably wrap things up here to keep this from getting abnormally long. But I appreciate everybody for stopping by, and big shout out to Nan for the question. Glad you asked. I hope you get a little bit of uh, that equity back and get out of that 5 lot position you're holding there in the DAX. I'll be keeping an eye on that. I got it marked as a favorite for us, but we'll just see how everything goes. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap everything up here. I hope everybody has a great weekend, and if you'd like to see another testing session before the weekend is up, just leave a note below, and I'll try to make some time. The weather should be clearing up for me tomorrow, though, so I may have to get busy at some point or another. So we'll see what all works out, and I'll see you on the next one.